Welcome back. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone and Rovi, and today we're going to give you an update on Bitmap post-blockout.
Yeah, dude. Didn't somebody segment like these into like two different eras? One is the
Bitoshi
era
and Blockamoto era.
So we're out of the Bitoshi era, right?
Yeah, Bitoshi's done. Now we're in
Blockamoto stage,
which is for the rest of time and space.
Wow, so that Bitoshi stage only lasted like a few weeks.
Just 17 days since our video, at least.
What an era it has been. So we got the rest of our lives of Blockamoto zone, which is fine. I think that's going to be the most important.
Yeah.
When looking back of stages, probably the most interesting when you like start to identify all the different like dominoes that are responsible for like this behemoth of the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like the Bitoshi era is obviously important too, because that's like literally, it's like the seed cracking the surface, right? It's like a plant.
The spark that started the wildfire.
Something like that. So yeah, it's nice to paint these analogies. But yeah, so we're in a new era. And yeah, like we've been talking about, the narrative shifts a bit now, right?
Mm-hmm. Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built MetaZone, the first app store for the metaverse. Buy, sell, and explore a new class of digital assets like our flagship game Rovi.ai. Support us by collecting your digital assets through MetaZone at metazone.io. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated. All right, back to the video.
A little bit more about, we have our foundation. It's agreed upon. We all are in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So now what, right? So
let's take a look at exactly what has happened during the Bitoshi era. So looks like the supply here is a little off just because indexer problems or situations happening at Ordinals wallet, but we have a number of roughly 17,000 holders of Bitmaps.
Yeah, and whenever the blockout occurred, that count was definitely lower.
It was
maybe like 300 or so lower than this.
No, well, it was closer to like 16,000. Like
on the lower end?
Yeah, on the lower end.
Oh,
I remember because I was saying 2,000 away from like matching the other side.
And that was your like personal objective. Like you would have liked to see that, mostly because of the narrative of that, right? It's like Bitmap becomes officially like the largest metaverse Web3 ecosystem in existence. So
that's right.
Based on this growth in the secondary market sense, like it's achievable, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We may actually see that happen. Yeah.
So we know that there's roughly 800,000 districts, 17,000 holders. You would imagine that at least a new 1,000 people would come in and say, "Hey, I'll buy that parcel for what is this, $6?"
Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "Damn, dude, I guess I missed the boat." You know, like everybody's flaunting their maps and rendering 3D scenes and stuff on top of them and with AI and stuff. It's like, you know what? It's like maybe I should have not faded this. And so now the only chance they have to become participants now is
a secondary market.
Correct. So
and it's only we're talking about $6 here. It's not ridiculous.
Not at all. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of accessibility still, even at this layer. At least at this stage. I don't know.
That's what gets me so bullish on like the metaverse on Bitcoin is that it's accessible.
Correct.
And if you were inclined, you could just get one of the new blocks. You could just wait and purchase one of the latest blocks, right? There's 144 new blocks every single day.
Yeah, you just run the risk, I guess, of being front ran.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Front run?
From run?
I don't know. You run the risk of paying your fees, but somebody paid a little bit more or something like that, so yours gets like disqualified.
Yeah. And
you just burnt some. You basically donated to Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
Which is okay, but yeah, that is like that's how it is for now. Yeah. And then once this space becomes more competitive and like the value of the floor goes up over time, then you're going to see some real heat every 10 minutes, some real competition.
So that's where we're at. Hopefully we get to 18,000 owners. That way we can just talk about how Bitmap's the biggest metaverse ecosystem in Web3.
Yeah, but even if we don't, but I'm anticipating we will. But even if we don't, like still, even though Bored Apes has like more holders, I think there's more potential here for like, I don't know, like innovation and like unique contribution, because like that whole holder ecosystem, they're sitting around waiting for Improbable and M Squared to do everything.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
In this case, is like anybody can come in and step up and create some kind of impact, which is I think the most interesting part of this.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we could like have a whole new like maybe like a Vitalik emerge from this ecosystem, you know?
Yeah, the Vitalik version of the metaverse.
Yeah, dude, that's the potential, but you can't expect that over there in improbable and squared
100%.
land. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Improbable M Squared, they're developing technology that's going to be leveraged on the other side.
Yeah.
Anyone can leverage those technologies and put it on Bitmap.
That's expect that.
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have all kinds of experiences, from centralized experiences on Bitmap to decentralized versions. Some people are gonna like decentralized metaverse. It's gonna be quite complex to do that completely on chain.
Yeah.
But you could do it, and then there's gonna be centralized versions where the experience is like what you would expect.
Yeah.
Or what you would want, what you would hope.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be all kinds of like enablements in that direction. So we're going to see everything, and it's all going to be in this free and open marketplace, market, where anybody can compete and see which one wins out. That's what you want.
Totally agree. So speaking of prices and stuff, so we're looking at the floor price here. Some other interesting, I guess, market activity or market event occurred over the last few days. Yes. Yeah, dude.
It says from BTC Dev, we have just witnessed the biggest Bitmap sale to date. 94.bitmap was just sold for $0.25 of a Bitcoin.
So if we're talking about future here, whenever Bitcoin's worth $1 million each,
that's 250 grand, dude.
That's basically a house. A house was just exchanged. Something like that. A future house was just exchanged for one of these Bitmaps, dude. So that's quite mind-blowing to think about, because like 3 weeks ago, these things were literally worth nothing.
Yeah.
we witnessed the auction of one .bitmap, and it sold for $300.
That's right.
So within 3 weeks, the value has exponentially increased.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
and I see TJ over there rubbing his like face in disgust because he remembers.
Very sad about that.
That could have been our one .bitmap, but we totally dropped the ball, dude.
Yeah.
We missed out on absolute financial like certainty.
Yeah.
Fuck it, dude. It happens.
Yeah. So what is that? Like a 3500X?
Yeah, well, if you're talking $2 mint.
Yeah.
3500X, dude. That's pretty juicy, man.
Yeah,
so
that's as juicy as it gets.
Right. And this is just the one of the beginnings. This is like one of the earliest sub 100 plots to sell in the market, right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, I guess the market is considering those to be the most rare and therefore most valuable. So
yeah,
this is good. This is validation for the whole ecosystem, right?
And here's cool. Here's something that's cool is like the value is going to be subjective, obviously, but you could create value on any of the blocks, right? If you have an ecosystem, maybe like Trevor or BitGod or one of these guys, they probably want a parcel or a district with thousands of transactions.
Yeah.
And so that's where they're going to be hosting their environment. And so, value can be had anywhere. It's not just 100%. The early blocks.
No, not at all. It's just good to see, like, these things are valuable.
Yeah,
seriously.
For sure.
It's badass. Yeah.
All right. X Spectre, we're planning on something. And we got ourselves 3,500 Bitmaps.
Okay, so the whales are starting to come out.
Yeah.
And letting their presence be known, dude. It's like, we've been quietly scooping and slurping over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And we got big plans, right? So like you said, the theme now post blockout is who the hell is going to build anything of substance on top of this new foundational layer. So we talked about IMSO Chris last week.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys saw that podcast.
Very popular podcast.
Yeah, dude. Everybody loved it, apparently.
Yeah, they did.
I knew that would happen. Chris is like a god in the making, right? Clearly.
Yeah.
So these guys, I think they're next on the list as far as like here we are with our offering, right? So
Yeah, this is cool. So
what's going on here? What are we actually looking at?
So we're looking at Unreal Engine kind of like world, and so they built sort of like a facility with a bunch of art, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And so kind of this is sort of like the most
entry level like metaverse
minimal viable product.
Even though it don't look like it, this is beautiful because it's Unreal Engine, right? You've been waiting for somebody to truly untap the I guess sexiness of the Unreal Engine and bring it to the metaverse. Yeah. So this is good.
Yeah, and so this is their offering. There's a chance that we're going to be interviewing the CEO sometime in the next couple of weeks or so.
Right.
And so this is gonna be interesting. Kind of talk to them about why they purchased 3,500 bitmaps.
Yeah. What's their plans?
What's their plans? Yeah.
And yeah, how soon can we expect to be able to do this ourselves if we own one?
Right.
If at all. So
right.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on people like this. They're on Twitter right now, just kind of like coming out the the shadows, exiting stealth mode. So this is cool. And then here we go, IMSO, like we just talked about.
Yeah, 64 plots left or spots left on their Bitmap Valley.
Yeah, which he's been, if you go to his Twitter page, he's been dropping like leaked images and stuff of what it is he's building.
Right.
And definitely watch the podcast if you're interested, because he lays out kind of like a framework for like a roadmap, like what to expect by when. So yeah, he's cooking.
Yeah, this is the most interesting thing about Bitmap is that everybody's coming in to like develop. Like you don't need VC investment and like this whole plan, and you just need to build stuff, and then people will get behind you.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. Like, of course, VCs accelerate things, and I guess like broaden the participant pool of like who can actually create some like significant value. But yeah, we've seen tons of instances where it's just like an indie team or whatever just creates something that just strikes a nerve within the Web3 culture and just blows up.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't necessarily need like VC backing, but it does help. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. The more participation from builders, the higher the probability we're gonna get like a crypto punk moment or something like that.
100%.
Yeah,
this is like proof of substance.
Right.
It's like people building, and then maybe investors are looking into the space and they find something that they want to invest in, and they'll do their work. Right, they'll do their job and invest in these projects.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see, but yeah, shout out to Chris. Definitely a fun podcast. Would like to have him back on. All right, here's what's next. So
this is just a
Mixverse. Okay,
follow up. I think we mentioned this as like an example of developers are out there. They're imagining new, different, I guess, like dimensions of utility. Right, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be a 3D environment, right? These bitmap things, they can kind of be utilized for many different.
Oh yeah, it could be 2D environments. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
We cannot know what's going to stick. In the same way, we've had this conversation. In the same way as like, it's hard to predict that the ERC 721 standard was going to blow up because of pictures, right? PFP
correct.
Projects.
Yeah, NFTs can be utilized for so many different ways.
Yeah, it's not just a picture project like platform
protocol.
Yeah,
it's like only JPEGs, nothing else allowed. Yeah, Bitmap has that same. All Bitmap has done is like wrapped like the data of Bitcoin itself into these nice little packets.
Yeah,
how these packets can be utilized as of right now because of not just the Bitmap standard, but what it's associated to, like the Bitfeed Live.
Yeah. Like
rendering maps. It's just intuitively you would expect it to be like a metaverse layer.
Yeah.
But that's not like, it's not programmed or confined to only like respect the metaverse. Understanding.
It's called Bitmap for a reason. It's not Bitland or
Bitverse.
Bitverse.
People are labeling the metaverse layer as the Bitverse.
Right.
But it could turn into anything else.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be leverage for DeFi, like you were saying, like all kinds of like weird stuff that you wouldn't expect.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think, we don't know what to expect. Right now, we're all just kind of like expecting a metaverse to result from this.
Yeah, and I think the metaverse makes the most sense. Like it seems to make the most sense just because of all the predictions. Like how are we going to get $1 trillion metaverse without some sort of like, infrastructure and standards and all that? And I think Bitmap starts there.
Yeah, totally. So this is good. This is like another little interpretation of not necessarily like a 3D spatial environment with your maps. It's something else, right? So that's cool to see.
Yeah. So this guy was an advisor to Mixverse, and so here they are, and so they have a history of like building all kinds of 3D environments and ecosystems. There's their website. All the links will be in the description. And finally, we have we wanted to talk about Trac, and so this is an example of Trac coming into like a valid use case.
Yeah.
Indexing an API was built by Trac, the Rarity Garden team. Amazingly, they joined the community early, offered to help, and delivered crazy fast.
So this is an example. So we talked about Trac like a week or two ago. Bitoshi Blockamoto officially announced that Bitmap Foundation, I guess, is officially working together with the Trac team. So that was pretty big news.
Yeah.
You know, and then over the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing like how the parcel standards are going to come about. Few attempts have been made, and Batoshi's reaction to those is like, you know, we got to wait for the indexing.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I took a look at it from every which angle, and no matter what, you're going to have to leverage indexers.
Yeah, at this stage, I guess, because, I mean, that is like the most primitive of infrastructure component to verify anything at this stage, right?
Yeah.
With the, I guess, the availability of what ordinals and like the innate like protocol of Bitcoin itself can support, right? So if that's the reality, then let's look at our options. And right now, it's basically
just
Trac.
Yeah.
But they're out there. Ord Games is now adopting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big deal. I think we need to understand Trac as much as possible.
Yeah,
right?
So we are going to do another video specifically on Trac to kind of break down what it is, what they're doing, why
is it so important?
Why is it so important?
Yeah, because not everyone's a developer, right? Not everybody understands from a developer's perspective, right? Not everyone's out there trying to build something.
Yeah.
And running into these problems. It's like, fuck. Like, how do I
And that's really the genesis of this channel is that we're builders. We understand like what's required.
Right.
We're able to see what's needed before the market recognizes it.
Yeah.
And we talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it starts with the developers identifying the problems, and then more developers creating the solutions to the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually the market like starts to understand that, and then vehicles for contribution, such as like tokens
or entertainment values.
Correct. Entertainment vessels, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. They start to get released, and then, you know, before you know it, a movement occurs, and then people are like, dude, fucking indexing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
We saw the same thing with, you know, Chainlink, the Link Marines, and the stinky Linkies and all that shit, dude.
That's right.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah,
You think 90% of those people had any idea like what tech they were like supporting?
Yeah, correct.
Fuck no, dude. They were all just like pumping PayPays and shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you need. You need both sides.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, if Trac is really that much important, it makes sense for everyone to understand why.
Yeah, so I guess... So technically, they're starting to prove themselves, and from an adoption perspective, as small as this ecosystem is in BRC20s and Bitmap, whatever, they're getting recognized and they're getting, you know, integration, I guess. Now it's like, yeah, how are they going to penetrate that cultural sphere, right? Because this is definitely not one of the more sexy narratives in Web3.
Trac Marines?
No, like, yeah, indexing, dude, is so fucking boring.
Yeah, but it worked for Chainlink, so...
Right, so that's my point. How are they going to... do that?
Yeah.
Maybe they won't have to since they're like alone, like in the space. Like
they might not have to, but you still need a community to understand why
and to like passionately support it.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about like the potential of the metaverse. So we're looking at the market cap of the metaverse in Web3, and we're looking at $7.5 billion.
Yeah, and this is basically
just a checkpoint.
Mostly Ethereum.
Mostly Ethereum, correct.
Yeah, so and the metaverse industry itself is just so tiny, like from a perspective of like how long it's even been like in existence.
Yeah.
In context to like Web3 and blockchain, you know, that's been around since the inception of Bitcoin, right? What's that, 15 years ago?
Yeah, about 14, yeah.
14, 15 years ago. This whole idea of like a Web3 metaverse really began in like 2017, 2018. So
yeah.
This is a baby space, right?
It is.
And it has experienced this moments of, you know, euphoria and price explosion and all that stuff. And then, of course, complete collapse to follow, just like all emerging markets do, right?
Yeah, it's not exclusive to crypto. We saw this in stocks. We saw this with Meta.
Internet.
Facebook.
Just the internet in general.
The internet, yeah.
It's
called the .com bubble for a reason.
Right, yeah. At the end of the day, the same human beings and psychological forces move these markets, right? So,
but that's how it matures, and then you get another cycle, and there's more entertainment to be had.
1,000%. So yeah, let's always keep this in context when you're, you know, considering the Bitmap ecosystem. Is like, okay, what do we have to reference as far as like what's the scope of how high can we get with this?
Yeah, you've convinced me that history is very important to understand.
I sure have,
because history rhymes.
I'll take that accolade. I'm the history boy, dude.
Yeah,
I like that, dude. Yeah, man, history is important. So, and everything we do in this ordinal space, you have to refer to the history of what happened on Ethereum, basically. The only thing that's unique to Bitmap, though, is like there really is no reference to this. This is truly like an origin point.
The only reference we have is like sociology. Like we have like Christopher Columbus coming to America and like setting sail and like landing, and
that's true. Yeah, you have to like expand your scope of reference beyond Web3.
Yeah,
to kind of like have any kind of hope of like where can we go with this.
That's right.
Because as far as like a metaverse standard aligned ecosystem, never happened before.
Agreed.
So we'll see.
That's why the potential is so huge.
Yeah, 1000%.
Okay. All right. We talked about Bitmaps updates post blockout. We talked about the biggest sale on Bitmaps, Spectre, IMSO Chris. We got Mixverse. So a lot of stuff. All the links will be in the description. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, if you want us to look at a project, definitely comment below.
Yeah.
And follow us on Twitter at The Blockrunner, at MetaZone.io, and at Rovi AI, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.